The year is 2024. PBS Plus has just launched, bringing the world's streaming services to 4,387. How can anyone be expected to go through all this content? Fear not, loyal passengers. Captain Joe Shoes and his first mate Mez are here to travel through space and time to bring you the best nuggets pop culture has to offer. Strap in, folks. It's time for the JoeMeZ podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 392 of the JoeMeZ podcast. I'm Mez, and my co-host, as always, is
the magistrate of Caravan City. I am Captain Joe Shoes from the JoeMeZ podcast.
Yeah, you are, buddy. What's up? How you doing, bro?
I'm good, Gomez. We're getting into the nitty gritty of the sports movie March Madness bracket here. Yes. And I'm like, now we're in the weeds right now. Second round starts this week. We're starting to get through it, really pushing through. What's going to be the winner? I can't wait to find out.
I can't wait. It's exciting. I'm waiting for that close matchup. Spoiler alert, I'm waiting for that close matchup.
I thought we were going to have it this week. It looked like we were going to have it this week.
Oh, it started good, and then right down the tubes, folks. Damn.
Thank you guys for listening to the JoeMeZ podcast. Please remember to hit that subscribe button if you'd be so inclined, wherever it is that you're listening to this. Leave a 5-star review if you're watching on YouTube at youtube.com/@JoeMeZpod. Please subscribe, leave some likes, leave some comments. We love all that stuff, and please follow us on social media at JoeMeZ, so you're getting all your JoeMeZ news and updates, but you can also do that in our Facebook group. It's free. It's everyone coming to hang out, have a good time, talk about what we're watching, what we like, what we don't like. And speaking of things we were talking about in the Facebook group this week, Gomez, first I want to start with a little, we haven't talked about this lately because we haven't been going to the movies. I mean, you have, I have not, but there really hasn't been any big releases for the most part, but that has changed over the past couple weeks. Yes. We've had 2 big releases now, and number 1 for this weekend was Kung Fu Panda 4. So that makes sense. Kung Fu Panda always does well. You bring in that family audience.
It's been a while for one of those.
Kung Fu Panda did $30 million this week, bringing it to a total of $107.7 million.
That's nice. That's a nice total there.
Well, if you think that's nice, number 2 this week was Dune 2, which did $29.1 million and brings it over $200 million domestically, over to 205.3 after this weekend. And
that's been killing it.
It's been doing great. It's got great reviews. I never saw the first one, so I'm not
dying to go
to see the second one.
I'm trying to see it in IMAX, so it really limits my show times, and it's rough. It's like it hasn't lined up yet. I want to see it on fucking IMAX. I'm gonna cave eventually and just see it on a regular size screen, but I really wanted to get that IMAX experience for this type of movie.
Now, did you watch the original Dune in what was it, in the 80s? Was that like 84. A thing for you as a kid?
No, never. Dune, that's nerd shit. We're like, what is that Dune? That shit out of here. That bootleg Star Wars, we would call it. But, really.
I never even heard of Dune until like the reboot came out. What was it, 3-4 years ago or whatever at this point? So I never even heard of Dune then. When people were talking about it, like it was this giant staple of pop culture from the 80s. I was just like, wait, I was there in the 80s, folks, and I don't remember no fucking Dune.
I know about it because it was directed by David Lynch, and so he's a big movie director guy. So it's like he's got all these movies, and then he tried to do this, Hollywood sci-fi movie, and it didn't work out so good. It's not highly regarded, but people do like it. There are people who like Dune. Like this is a book from the 60s. So apparently this has got some audience. Apparently this is like where George Lucas got Star Wars from. It's very Star Warsy when you watch it and you go, yeah, that does sound kind of Star Warsy. And so I guess it was a thing. I just, we're a little too old for that, I guess. A little too young, excuse me.
So the past couple of weeks, people have been going to the movies, but in our Facebook group this week, Mr. Slowpoke posted an article from IndieWire about people not wanting to really go to the movies anymore. And this had me thinking, Gomez, we should talk about this because
Sure.
even though I don't consider myself a huge movie goer, but I still like the experience of going to the movies when there's something out that I want to see. But in this article, which was done by Harris X, there's some firm that does these polls or whatever, and they gave the results exclusively to IndieWire. Only 34% of the people polled in this prefer to watch movies in the theater as opposed to streaming at home. That sounds
Crazy.
incredibly low to me. You know, we're talking about a third of audiences only want to go to the theaters anymore. And then as people in the group started commenting on it, it also felt like only a third of the people leaving comments on the original post in the group prefer to go to the theaters as well.
Yeah, sad to see. Sad to see. I mean, I've obviously everyone's got different reasons for not going to the theater, but I think you should always want to see a big spectacle movie on the movie theater screen. Like, come on, that's what it was made for. Our TVs are nice, our sound systems are nice, but it ain't that nice, bro. It ain't that nice.
So my thing is, if there's a movie out, and whether it's a spectacle movie or not, like I always bring up Avatar as the example.
Sure.
Like Avatar as a
need to see
movie,
it.
I don't think is great,
No,
but it's a movie
alright.
that, okay, you got to go to the theaters to see it in the way it's meant to be seen, right? Now, obviously, from when you and I were kids, the technology has changed in a way where the home movie experience is significantly improved than it was, in 1987 or 1988 or the 90s even, where we had tube TVs and we're sacrificing sound, we're sacrificing picture quality, aspect ratio.
Yeah.
So all of that stuff was being sacrificed, and now we pretty much don't have to do that.
Sure.
We're not really sacrificing that much. But when I read the article and I start looking at the reasons people give, it's like people looked for any reason just to avoid going out in public. So you have 23% of people said they have concerns over cleanliness or the possibility of contracting flu or COVID from being out in a crowd.
Interesting.
And this is 4 years after the big COVID outbreak.
It's interesting to hear that. Okay.
And we're still, and don't get me wrong, I've heard tons of stories of people who are basically shut-ins now because they're afraid to go out in public. But I'm still surprised that 23% of people have these concerns. 22% of people want to be able to go to the bathroom whenever they want.
I get it, but come on, figure it out. 90 minutes, 2 hours. You can't be peeing every 2 hours. No, right? Come on. To me, that sounds, I'm sure that someone's going to go, I pee every 30 minutes. But every 2 hours, you have to go and pee. That's crazy. Like, damn, I'm sorry to hear that, folks.
19% of people say they want to avoid distractions from the audience. Now, I go to a fair amount of movies. You go to many more than I do. Very rare is the time where the audience becomes a legitimate distraction.
I say the same thing, but then you will talk to people. See, we're saying this. We're going to get comments now when people watch and listen to this that are saying, every time I go to the theater, I have to yell at someone for talking. Every time I go to the theater, there's someone this and that. I see it all the time. So we are just like the luckiest motherfuckers around because I got no issues ever. And now, I see opening day, nighttime, morning, all different times.
If you go to some big opening day release, maybe the crowd's a little juiced up. You go see like a Spider-Man movie or something, and you get people who are a little extra enthusiastic. They're laughing harder at the jokes, to me, that's part of it.
Yes. I want everyone going, oh shit. That's what I want. That's the best, bro. When we're all experiencing this together, right? Endgame, those experiencing that with a crowd was fantastic. It wouldn't have been the same sitting there by yourself watching that.
So 15% of people said the travel is inconvenient. Now,
I get it.
I don't know where you guys live. Maybe getting to a movie theater is relatively inconvenient. If you live in anything resembling a town, odds are you have a movie theater within 20 minutes of you. in some direction.
Sure.
I don't think that's inconvenient.
It isn't. I'm sure, again, someone's going to say they don't
No.
have, I'm far
What,
away.
because the movie
Because
theater's not down the block or it's not on the corner?
I'm thinking where I live, you know, I'm in a good spot. But if you did live 15 minutes east of me, now you're like, that's a 40-minute drive to get to the nearest theater because you'd be
Is
in
that
between.
would that be the nearest theater though? 40 minutes?
Yeah, because I'm thinking we got the AMC, and then you go pretty east before you get some other movie theaters. So yeah, I think you're kind of in the middle there. But again, still, you make a day of it. No one's telling you to go to the movie theaters every day, every week. But once a month, you take the drive. It is what it is.
13% of respondents said the selection of movies is what keeps them from going. Now, I can understand that maybe there isn't always a movie out that you want to see, but you're going to tell me over the course of a year, there's not 5-6 movies that you look at and you say, oh, you know what? I'd like to go see that movie.
5-6, definitely. Well, we watch pretty much anything, any genre, but there's a lot of vanilla motherfuckers out there that I only watch this type of movie. Nah, I don't watch that shit. I don't watch that shit.
But if I say 5, if you go
five,
to
I
6
think
times
5
a year,
is, yeah.
If you go 6 times a year, that's once every 2 months. I don't think that's that bad of a ratio.
No, when something's coming out every week, that would gain your interest, perhaps. Yes, I agree.
So, okay, maybe for the most part, yeah, you know what? Like right now, I'm not running out to see Kung Fu Panda. I'm not running out to see Dune 2. But before this year is over, I guarantee I go to the movies a dozen, 15, maybe 20 times.
Not this year. You making the point, but this year is rough. But yes,
well, this year's
you as a
an
casual
off year because of the strikes and
stuff.
everything.
But
so
yeah, I feel you get there about 15, 20 times a year.
This one caught me. 8% of people are turned off by seat selection.
This drives me crazy. We have a good friend of ours who complains about picking
all
a
the
seat,
time,
and we always get on him like, you're insane. It's the greatest thing ever invented to be able to roll into your movie theater, especially going to AMC where there's 20 minutes of fucking trailers. So yeah, I want to get to the movies maybe 10 minutes past showtime, bro. Fuck that.
I go to a Regal theater, and once again, 20 minutes of trailer.
Fuck
and
that.
It's nice to know that if the show starts at 6:00, I can show up at 6:20, get the seat that I want, have no worries in the world about it, sit down in my seat and be able to watch the movie from the perspective I wanted to watch it from. That is great. And for why people would say seat selection is an issue for them, I cannot comprehend it.
Come on, man. I couldn't imagine. Remember, Joe? Midnight movies, waiting hours and hours.
Having to wait online outside in the cold, in the rain, in the snow.
9:30. Got to get there early. Make sure you get your seat.
Make sure you get your seat, have your tickets in advance. Make sure you get a halfway decent seat. No one wants to sit in row 2 at a giant theater for a big release.
Nope. Crazy. Oh.
Now, the things people do compliment, well, over 30% of respondents said they stream at least 2 movies per week.
That's good, at least. At least they're watching movies. Because I do get that. You do have an abundance of selection and options at your fingertips.
59% of people say the reason that they would go is the experience of the big screen.
Yes.
Okay, great. Now, like I was saying before, I understand the technology has come a long way, but you still don't have a movie theater size screen. You still don't have that Dolby digital surround sound coming at you from all angles. So you can have a great setup, and you've seen people now build their home theater rooms and stuff.
Awesome theaters, but it's not the same.
39% of people say one of their reasons for going is to escape the at-home distractions, which I think is great. You want to be able to get away, sit, let the movie overtake you. Maybe it's not going to be great. Maybe it will be great. But the thing is, you're getting away. You're getting involved. You're getting your head tucked into something different. You're breaking up the monotony of going from work to home and back in a horrible cycle.
I saw some of the comments when we posted this on Facebook, how they say when they go to a theater, they like it because they put their phone down. It's time to focus on the movie. I can't keep twiddling on my phone, getting up to do this. No, I'm sitting down for 2 hours and I'm watching this movie. That's all I'm doing. Yeah, I love that. I hate having to pause a movie and watch it again later. It is what it is. I have to do it sometimes. I prefer not to. So I get it.
It's one of those things, and I hate to say like I live this way, but as society is this way, and I live on my phone. I'm always getting messages. I'm always getting notifications. I'm always getting somebody tagging me in some form of social media somewhere. And I have, and this is a me problem. This is a Captain Joe Shoes problem. I know it's not everybody. This is a Captain Joe Shoes problem. I have a touch of OCD where I have this immediate need to clear notifications on my phone. Nothing bothers me more than having notifications on my phone. So if I'm in the theater, I have to shut off my phone completely so I don't feel it vibrate, so I don't feel it go off. But I like being detached for that 2 hours.
Yeah,
or if it's Oppenheimer, 11 hours. But I'm detached. And all of a sudden, it's almost like a recharging the batteries a little bit because I got away for a little bit. Okay, now I can go back to reality and do what I got to do. But it does give me time to get away. Whereas when I'm watching a movie at home, I'm not turning my phone off while I'm sitting on my couch. And then all of a sudden, oh, Facebook wants this and Instagram wants this. These 3 people are texting me about 3 things happening in their life. And I have this immediate need to respond to it because that's the way I'm wired. So there is times where I got to go and look up and I go, fuck, I just missed the last 8 minutes of this movie and I got to rewind and rewatch it.
It's the worst. It's the worst. It's like, fuck, what I just miss.
And then what'll happen too is sometimes because I'm hell bent on clearing these notifications, I'm on my phone and I'll notice something else and I'll be like, oh, let me see if I got extra lives in that game I was playing. Or and all of a sudden I'm playing Royal Flush or whatever, Royal Jewels, or I don't even know what it's called. But all of a sudden I'm playing this game and I look up and I miss 20 minutes of the movie.
Oh, I love it. But it's the truth. A lot of people are going, same shit happens to me. The same shit happens to me.
And a couple of weeks ago, I talked about going to Pittsburgh and how I thought about canceling the trip. And then just the feeling I got about being in the crowd with people with the same interests and those like-minded people. And it's not like in the movie theater, you're talking to people or sharing experiences or whatever, but you're reacting to the same thing in the moment with them. You're laughing, you're crying, you're getting sad, you're feeling emotions, you're having your heartstrings tugged at by whatever this movie is presenting to you. And I'm amazed by like how many people are just done with the quote unquote shared crowd experience at this point in their life. And that, I think a lot of that has to go back to the COVID scare as well.
Sure.
But guys, the world is a big place. It's bigger than
place.
your house.
It's fun. It's fun out there. It sucks out there, but it's fun out there too. There's some fun to be had.
Every day that passes, we got one less day to do this.
That's
so
right.
how many
Enjoy
more
life, folks.
How many more summers do you really have left in your life at this point, JoeMeZ?
You don't know. Could be the last.
You don't know. This very well could be the last.
Yeah, it is. It's morbid to think that, but it's the truth. We have friends who just are here one day and not there the next day. It happens.
I think about that. Like, that's one of those things. Someone said that to me one time, and it's like one of those things that stuck with me. And they go, if you really think about it, how many more summers do you have? Because especially when you're a kid, like you wait all year to get to summer.
Best time
summer
of the
vacation,
year. Yes. School's
camp,
over. Yes.
Training, whatever it is that you're doing. Oh, I take a family vacation. I do that, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Once you do that summer and you go back to school and you're like, my God, those 2 months went by faster than I've ever imagined. And you spend the next 10 months just trying to get back to summer. And each time you keep knocking off a summer off your bingo card. How many summers do you have left? Get out there, be involved in the world, make some friends, see shows, do stuff that you want to do, but maybe you don't feel. Push yourself to get out there a little bit, guys.
Yes, you got a friend going, tag along. Tag along, have some fun.
So that's my little rant for the day. I don't want to say it's not okay to watch movies at home. Of course, we're all going to watch movies at home. But get out there in the world a little bit, and not just for movies, but have dinner, make a night of it. Get some nachos, go to the Qdoba. They got that queso sauce.
Fucking queso is so good, bro. Oh, a couple have been popping up in the neighborhood. Yeah, baby. Love it.
You know what I want to do? And I keep putting this off for myself. I like basically stopped going to concerts. And I used to go to a lot of concerts.
Makes me sad.
And
I love going to a concert.
I'm just old and I go, I don't want to stand up.
It's not fun. It isn't. But then you go and you have fun. I dread every concert I go to because driving there, finding parking, sitting around if you're there early and just waiting, this fucking opening band I got to sit through. But sometimes the opening band rocks your fucking socks off. You got to do it. I bet you if they did a study about concerts, it's probably the same. I can see people like, I don't want to. That's even worse. You're cramped up, like you're on top of people. It's got to be people like, nah, I'm not into concerts, bro.
I mean, I'm more apt to go to an arena show at this point, just because I know I can get a seat. I know I'm going to be sitting down and enjoying the New Kids on the Block and whoever else they're playing with.
Sure.
But I get all these like cool bands that I listened to 20, 25 years ago that are playing. These
coming around
relatively local places, and they're not going to be playing forever.
No, playing the hits that you want to see, bro. They're coming around. Like, you're going to get the concert you want to see. You got to go to that Weezer show, baby.
Yeah, I do have to go to that Weezer show. They're playing the whole Blue album. How do I
come on? How do you go? That's like, you're going to have a good time. Another show, you might not have a good time with that set list they pick, but this time you're going to have a great time.
So that's it for this week, folks. Think about how many summers you have left and how you want to spend them. If you take anything away from today's show, make it that. But JoeMeZ, we have a big tournament going on here. And with that, we had three movies to watch today. Really 4 if we wanted to do a rewatch of Blue Chips. But we just saw that a couple weeks ago. We didn't need to rewatch it.
No rewatch.
So where do you want to start first?
We should finish the first round before we head into the second round.
So we'll start with the baseball movies.
Let's start with the baseball movies. Yes, sir.
I think that's a good idea.
These baseball movies, we thought this was going to be a close race, right? That's what we figured. But I think there's reasons why we thought that this was going to be a close race. They're very similar movies.
So the two movies this week were Bull Durham from 1988 and Major League from 1989. Which do you want to start with?
Maybe let's start with Bull Durham. Maybe.
Okay. Bull Durham, like I said, comes out in 1988, runs an hour and 48 minutes, came in number 15 at the domestic box office.
Wow.
In 1988. Made $50.8 million on a $9 million budget. It was behind Scrooged, which came in 14. And the comedy classic Twins at 16.
Whoa, heavy hitters up there, bro.
This is a very deep list. You know what came in number 1 in 1988, JoeMeZ?
Look Who's Talking.
It's a comedy, but not that one. What if I told you half of the characters are people and half are tunes?
Oh, Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit was the number 1 movie at the domestic box office in 1988, grossed $156.4 million.
Mash hit, bro. Love it.
IMDb gives Bull Durham a 7. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 97% fresh.
Wow.
With an audience score of 82%. Okay, and this is about a minor league baseball fan who has an affair with one minor league player each season, and she meets an up-and-coming pitcher and the experienced catcher assigned to train him.
Yes, right to the point, pretty much right there.
My first impression of this movie, and I've seen this movie, I watched it when I was young, and I guess I didn't get a lot of it when I was young.
Hated it when I was younger.
So because of that, I kind of pushed it to the side and it never got rewatched for me at all.
100%.
Yet when I watched this movie and I watched Major League this week, there's only 1 year between them in terms of release, yet Bull Durham feels like a much older movie.
It does. Like it's when I saw the years, I was like, oh wow, this is only like I could have sworn like this was like 85 and this was like 90. Like there was like a 5-year gap or something. No, it's right on the heels of each other. It's crazy.
The feel of it is completely much older for whatever reason. And I don't know whether that's just the difference between one movie looking like a minor league movie and the other looking like a
Maybe,
major league movie,
I think that could be it. Yeah,
but the whole tone of it feels older to me.
it does.
So we get Kevin Costner as the star. He plays Crash Davis. Susan Sarandon plays Annie Savoy, the groupie. Tim Robbins plays Nuke LaLoosh. And this is a story about the Durham Bulls, a minor league team in Durham, North Carolina, who at the time were a affiliate of the Atlanta Braves, and right now, I believe, are the AAA team for the Tampa Bay Rays.
Love that.
So what impressions of this movie did you have coming in?
Yeah, so like I said, I had the same thing as you, where you hear about this movie. This is when people talk baseball movies, this is always something that gets brought up. Like this is people's movies, and seeing it younger, it was like, I guess because there's more romance to this movie than Major League.
It's more adult themed.
Adult, exactly, because it's not like there's not a romance in Major League. It's just it seems so different. Like I said, it just these movies are similar, but they seem so different at the same time. I think because
it's almost like
how
a
they
more
handle.
It's more honestly an adult picture. It's Kevin Costner writing her the note saying, "I want to fuck you" or something. It's the Susan Sarandon's character of Annie being very open.
Yes.
About, oh, I'm gonna fuck this one player this season.
Yes.
So all these themes are like things that play into it and make it a much different type of sports movie than we're accustomed to seeing. And when you hear kind of older baseball writers, sports guys, for a lot of people, this is their movie. I hear it all the time when I listen to these baseball podcasts, and whether it's Buster Olney or Jason Stark or these elder statesmen of the baseball bylines, they will say, oh, Bull Durham, the best baseball movie ever. And I used to hear that, and I used to go, what are you, fucking on crack?
100%. Yep. Like, what? This movie? Of all the movies? What? This? Yeah. 100%. That's why I never gave it a shot till many, many years later.
Now, one of the things that was written in our group when we put up the poll for this week, our buddy Mike Frias, he left a comment that I thought was just, it was beautiful in its simplicity. And his comment was he was voting for Bull Durham. And now I had thought that an age difference was going to be the determining factor here.
Sure.
If you were a little, but I also thought Bull Durham was a lot older. So I'm like, oh,
that's true. So what's the age? I know.
Now, when there's only a 1 year difference between releases,
what's
what really is the age gap here?
What's the cutoff?
But Mike Frias posted a comment when we posted the poll, and he said, for a young Mikey, seeing Susan Sarandon's tits in this movie made this the greatest thing ever, and that's why he voted Bull Durham. And you know what? If I was of that age, honestly, Mike Frias wouldn't have been the only one voting that way. For the same reason.
100%. I'm sure this was a life changer for many people. They're just watching this baseball movie, and all of a sudden, whoa, hello there.
And it almost wasn't Susan Sarandon. I mean, basically, I'm not even going to get into names. Basically, any actor and any actress of the 80s was at one point rumored to be playing all these roles. So even when you do the research, it's literally every name is, oh, this person was considered for the role, and this actress was considered for the role, and this person, and this. And it's just like, okay, like just everyone, we just had an open casting call, said, hey, Hollywood, show up. That's what it sounds like. Originally, though, Susan Sarandon was thought to be too old to be the role of Annie. And she's named Annie, by the way, because it's a colloquial term for a groupie in the baseball scene. You call them Annies, not just groupies. They can be Annies. So that's why she's named Annie in this. But she's 42 when they filmed this movie. So 42 in 1980s Hollywood might as well have been 82.
Yes, she's an old hag at that point. Like, I'm surprised. Yeah, it's true.
Basically, what they had to do was dress her up and send her to like the producer's office in like a skin tight, form fitting dress where she had to like lean over the desk and play the character and show she could be sexy and seductive.
But doesn't the role make sense to have an experienced older person? What were they supposed to be? Just a couple years older, like in their
But
30s?
an older person would have been 27 by the way Hollywood does things.
It's true.
But we get the story of this minor league pitcher, Nuke Lelouch, who is the big upcoming prospect, where in single A ball, I believe, is how we're formatting it. If you guys are familiar with the minor league baseball system. And Crash Davis is brought in to kind of be his veteran and kind of show him what it takes to be a major leaguer and hope he's able to develop that talent and go ahead and make it to the major leagues. And Crash Davis is not happy about this because he's still hanging on to his hopes of one day getting back to the big leagues. He did spend 22 days there at one point and never made it back since. And he's holding out hope because that's everyone's dream, right?
Why would
when you start
that's why he
playing
plays.
Outside of Moose, who played in the NFL for 7 years, even though he hated football, which is a story we just got on Captain's Log.
What, folks? If you you need to watch this episode. Listen to whatever you do. The stories this man told. Woo, Tom Brady, bro. That's all we're gonna say.
When he hit me with that Brady story, brother, that fucking rocked me. So if you want to listen to that interview for the Captain's Log, that's on majormarks.com. You sign up there and it'll be available to you. But great interview with Moose. Great dude. He's a good buddy of mine now. But that's your goal, is you always want to make it to the major leagues and not just make it. It's once you make it there, you want to stay there, right? It's one thing to get there. It's another thing to stay there.
Yes.
And we say that in wrestling all the time too.
Sure.
You know, it's one thing to get signed. It's another thing to stay there and make a living.
Signed. Yeah. Get that second, third contract.
And I was just going to say, when you get to the pros and the NBA, the NFL, we talk about this all the time too, right? The second contract.
Yes.
It's not necessarily always the first contract that changes your life. It's the second one. Whether you've established yourself and now you're making real money.
Max money. Yep.
Or you've just reached a point where you're locking down your endorsements and you're really setting up your future generations of your family for inherited wealth. And for most people, it's not going to happen. There is such a small percentage of professional baseball players who literally end up being able to live a life off their baseball earnings. And it doesn't hamper them from trying to live out their dreams and accomplish them and spend years toiling around the minor leagues to try to get that one shot to just do it, you know, make that money, live out that dream and be that guy. And I think this tells a good story about life in the minor leagues. And I think that's why so many of the baseball writer type people are romantic about it, because it does give what feels to be a pretty truthful telling of life in the minor leagues.
I agree. Now I'm a little older watching the movie, I appreciate it a lot more. It's a pretty good movie here. It's a very good baseball movie too. It's very good at showing you baseball life. And it's like, oh, this is not bad. I wouldn't say the best. I don't know about best, right? I don't know about best, but I've come around on this movie. It's not bad here.
Watching this movie and remembering how I felt about it from watching it years and years ago and never going back to it. Watching this movie now with adult eyes and wizened and grizzled, I can relate to Crash Davis in many, many ways. Having toiled on independent wrestling scene for years, there's a lot of comps there, stuff I can relate to. And I also appreciate the movie on its own a lot more than I did. And when it was over, I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
This is a pretty good movie here.
Yeah, it might be a close vote. Yeah, that's right. It might be.
So this movie actually comes in at number 5 on a 2008 list made by AFI, the American Film Institute.
Okay.
Their top 10 sports films.
Oh, period.
This comes at number 5. Yeah, just sports movies, period. This comes in at number 5. And that list, obviously 16 years old now. But when that list came out, number 5. And there's been a lot of sports movies.
Yeah.
Now, if you asked me back then, would this make your top 10? The answer would have been absolutely not. And even now, I think top 10 is a lot. I don't know if
Yes,
this
you
makes
gotta
a
really
top
sit
10,
there and really think about it.
but
But
I ended up
this
enjoying this movie way more than I expected to going in and having to watch it.
100%. I was like, I haven't watched it in a while, so I do need to rewatch this one. All right, let's watch it. And at the end, we're like, that's a damn good movie, bro. Okay, I get it. I get it now. See that? A little bit wise. That's why we say you haven't watched the movie until you're a little older. Youngins, you don't get everything. You gotta be a little older sometimes.
Quick little blurb here. The
Ooh.
baseball trainer as credited in this movie is Grady Little, who at the time was the
Oh,
IRL manager of the Durham Bulls. You may best remember him as the manager who left Pedro Martinez in for 1 inning too long in 2003 and cost the Red Sox a chance to go to the World Series that year.
yes, sir. Oh, damn. Grady Little. That's a name I haven't heard in forever. All right, Joe. Let's jump on to our next movie here. What's one of our favorites? This is our movie here, Joe.
Now, this is a movie I have watched. In
Can't
all
even keep
honesty,
track.
it's got to be in the
Lost
triple
track of
digits amount of
times.
times.
Yeah.
Because it was something that when I was finally allowed to see it, because it was a rated R comedy at the time.
Yes, it was.
But it was a baseball movie and it was popular. There was a lot of people talking about it. I remember even my parents rented it and wouldn't let me watch it. And I thought they were pieces of shit for that because I was probably like 8 or 9 years old and they didn't want me to hear all that foul language. Because when I was a small child, I saw Back to the Future in theaters. And coming out of that, I used to say son of a bitch all the time. My mom was throwing a fit because I had heard son of a bitch in Back to the Future. And I walked out of there going, son of a bitch, son of a bitch. and then I wasn't allowed to watch Back to the Future after that for a long time too. So we definitely weren't going to make that same mistake with Major League. This movie comes out in 1989, runs an hour 47, a budget of $11 million, domestically brings in $49.7 million, making it 23rd on the domestic gross list for 1989, just ahead of the Bette Midler classic Beaches.
Oh, we love us some Beaches.
It's a movie both JoeMeZ and I, just the two of us, sat around one night and watched together while having some drinks. It was a very masculine evening.
It's a beautiful evening.
And right behind the Melanie Griffith classic, Working Girl.
Working Girl. There you go. Nice.
Working Girl came in 22.
Love Working Girl.
And number one for 1989 should be a layup, JoeMeZ. What do you got?
89's Batman.
It is Batman indeed.
Yeah.
$251 million at the box office.
God, that's a fucking lot of money in 1989, bro. Holy shit.
It's a lot of money today.
Yeah, it is. That's what I mean. In 89, that's a fucking $1 billion picture right there. God damn.
So IMDb says Major League is the story of the new owner of the Cleveland Indians who puts together a purposely horrible baseball team so they'll lose and she can move the team to Miami. But when the plot is uncovered, they start winning just to spite her.
Yes, that's a good synopsis there.
So we get all the people that we've known and loved since 1989. Tom Berenger is Jake. Corbin Burnson is Roger Dorn.
What a cast.
Charlie Sheen is the Wild Thing, Ricky Vaughn. James Gammon plays manager Lou Brown. We get our ladies, Margaret Whitten as Mrs. Phelps, the evil owner. Renee Russo as Lynn, the librarian.
Lynn, the librarian.
And who can forget the legendary Hornswoggle's very good friend, Mr. Bob Uecker, who plays the role of the radio broadcaster Harry Doyle.
Is that the most iconic part of the movie? Is him doing the commentary? I feel like
I'll tell you what. So when we compare these two movies together, one of the biggest things that I think puts it in favor of Major League, and I might be showing my cards a little early here, is the commentary of Harry Doyle.
It's amazing.
And he was basically given permission to just ad lib however much he wanted. David S. Ward is the writer director here, and he was an Indians fan, and he wrote this movie because he felt like this would be the only chance he'd ever get to see the Indians win anything.
I love it. What a great idea.
And
We
he
need to do that,
hires,
Joe.
like, we should write a movie about the Mets.
Write a Mets movie, bro.
He hires Bob Uecker, not because Bob Uecker at that point had been a baseball broadcaster for over 20 years for the Brewers, but because he had seen him in Mr. Belvedere and he'd seen him in the Miller Lite commercials and just thought he was funny. And when Bob Uecker came in and they were like, okay, like, here's what we want. He's like, I've been broadcasting baseball for over 20 years. And the director was like, wait a minute, what, really?
Hysterical. But it's true. But you don't know that. You're watching Major League. You think it's just the guy for the movie, and then you find out that he's the Brewers guy for 100 years. It's pretty crazy.
Bob Uecker, Baseball Hall of Famer, not for his playing, for his announcing, for his comedy, for his wit. He's as much. If you go to the stadium in Milwaukee, there's something called the Uecker seats that they did in the Miller Lite commercials back in the day, when Miller Lite was still kind of fighting for foothold in the marketplace. You know, what's it gonna, because no one really trusted a light beer. Oh, no. Light beer can't, that's just diet stuff. We don't want that. Yeah. And Bob Uecker would do these funny commercials about, I'm Bob Uecker, I must have front row seats. And they'd be like, they look at his ticket. The ticket guy would look at it and be like, right this way, put him in the worst seat in the house. And it'd be like, those are the Uecker seats. So if you go, I don't know what it's called now, America Family Field, maybe in Milwaukee. It used to be called Miller Park. It's not called that anymore. If you go behind home plate, you go all the way up into the upper deck. There's a statue, basically, of Bob Uecker sitting in the worst seat in the house that you could go, and they have an empty seat next to it so you could sit down next to him and have a photo op.
That's really cool. That's awesome.
Now, this movie, like I said, a movie I've seen 100 times.
Yeah.
But it's been a while since I've sat down to watch it.
It's been a while.
And let me tell you, I laughed.
It's so good, bro.
My goodness, did I laugh. Now, this movie is the caricature of the base. We said Bull Durham presents like kind of a true telling of minor league life. Major League is out there, but it has its own set of rules, right? It tells you from the beginning, this movie's going to be ridiculous, and it follows its own rules throughout the movie. So it makes it very easy to suspend disbelief and very easy to get into these characters and believe in what they're selling. So, like the character of Willie Mays Hayes, for instance, showing up uninvited to spring training. No one had, it's the most absurd thing ever. Even the players sleeping in.
They all sleep together, in the facility. Like it's a summer camp.
Like it's summer camp. And the way the security guards come in the middle of the night to just take off his bunk and just place it outside. Like, some of this stuff is so ridiculous, but it's also like so well done that it's just funny. And there's a bit of a reverence here that almost falls into that Naked Gun spoof comedy. In a lot of situations.
It's borderline,
where it really just lands. They're not so much breaking the fourth wall like they really would in Naked Gun like that, but it's very tongue-in-cheek and it lands. It's so well done. And by the end of this movie, I'm sitting here going, my fucking God, that's a fucking pastrami sandwich of a movie.
It's a good sandwich. It's a good sandwich, baby. God damn. Yeah, I haven't watched the same thing. I haven't watched it in a while. It's been like 4 or 5 years. So putting it on, and boy, was I just having the time of my life. Like the first time, just cracking up. I always forget it's all rated because I'm so used to part 2, seeing part 2 so much. And so they're letting the F-bomb fly, and but it's good. It works. Oh, it's a good shit.
One of my favorite parts of the movie, and this is going to sound so ridiculous over the entire movie, but when they're sitting in that crappy airplane that they got to take from town to town after she says we're spoiling them with, the nice flights and all the benefits of being a major leaguer. And Willie and Ricky Vaughn are sitting there reading their magazines or their comic books, whatever. and he's got trading him for Crime and Punishment for Song of Hiawatha or whatever. And Willie Mays Hayes looks at Vaughn and goes, "Hey, is that a detective story?" Like it's such a stupid line. And I was like,
it is. It's a whole bunch of little things like that. Those are all my favorite parts, right? It's always those little. Wait, what did he say? Especially those are the ones you catch on your fourth, fifth, sixth, 100th time viewing.
It's not so much about the big belly laugh out loud moments. It's all these little throwaway kind of biting lines that just make you snicker. And you're like, oh, you fucking got me there.
Yes, sir. Good shit. I feel like the baseball scenes in the movie, they're so well done. Like the suspense, the way they shoot the baseball scenes, I think it's a great depiction of baseball, even in its heightened silliness. But in their world, like they're filming like some pretty awesome baseball stuff there.
Now there is a lot of camera tricks that go into that. Willie Mays Hayes running the bases was always filmed in slow motion. That way,
that's great.
We can show it makes it look like he's running faster. When Ricky Vaughn is pitching, obviously Charlie Sheen is not throwing 101 miles an hour.
Didn't he hurt his shoulder doing this movie?
He actually juiced up. He got on steroids before this movie, and he was able to throw in the mid 80s when he was doing this movie. But what they did to make his fastball seem even faster was they moved the mound in 10 feet from the normal 60 feet 6 inches.
Yeah, that's good.
And they only filmed it from behind the catcher. So you'll never see the camera behind Ricky Vaughn as he's pitching, because they don't want to give away that the mound is closer than it normally is.
That's great. Yeah, that works because it looks good. Looks like he's fired that shit in there. Love it.
So there it is. That's the first round of the baseball region. We had Bull Durham. We had Major League. JoeMeZ for a while. I had to think about my vote, but at the end, it ended up becoming a very clear choice for me. When we first posted the poll, you put it up in our Facebook group. It looked like a tight race from the get-go. We were only a couple votes separating each other between movies, and then that soon went the way of the Buffalo.
Did not last long. We were all excited. We mentioned last week we thought this was going to be the close one, and we put it up and we were like, yes, this is the close one. And within an hour, it was not a close one anymore. Major League came and whipped that ass like all the others had did before. It's like the Bull Durham people. They were there early, like, yep, here we go. And then they just stopped coming.
Mike Frias and all his friends who were super hyped about Susan Sarandon's tits. They got their votes in super early, but they couldn't hold off that Major League barrage.
So then I figure maybe in the second round, we got to get some close matchups, right? Because these are number 1 seeds, right? It's got to be some close matchups.
You would think so.
Well, let's go to our first.
Well, hold on. We don't know what even won this one yet. Why don't you hit some music?
Oh my goodness, that's right.
Are you a man? A double main man? Are you a man? A triple main man? A man? A quadruple main man? Are you our man? Are you our man?
Main man standing out. So many movies. I'm sorry, Joseph. I was getting ready for the next thing. We got to see where these fall on main man stands. I'm very curious to see how you rate these movies, Joseph. Let's start with Bull Durham. What you got there?
Bull Durham is a good movie, man. And for years, I have been like, these fucking Buster only doesn't know what he's talking about.
Does he fucking know?
But Bull Durham's a good movie, man. I really enjoyed it. And way more than I expected to going in, which probably even made it better for the movie
Sure.
watching
Yes.
experience I had the other night. I would give it a quadruple main man, 4 stars.
Oh, baby, I'm right there. I'm gonna give it a 3.5, main man. It's good. It was real good, especially like you said, coming in thinking, oh, this fucking movie. Let's see what this best baseball movie is about. And I'm like, it's up there. It's pretty damn good. Very happy to see that. All right, now Major League Time. Now this is our shit, Joe. We talk about this movie all the time.
Now I watched Bull Durham first this week before Major League.
Me too.
So after coming out of Bull Durham, I almost felt like, oh, Major League's gonna have to really impress me to be able to overtake this, because it's a movie I've seen. I already know I like it, but maybe I've underplayed Bull Durham all these years. And then basically, as soon as Major League starts, I get back into like that comfort zone where every single joke is just landing, just boom, boom, boom. And I'm chuckling and I'm laughing and I'm snickering and I'm smiling. Even when they show the 2 Asian groundkeepers there and talking their language, and it just the translation comes on, they're shitty. And it just
They're shitty.
that alone even pops me.
Yeah.
And it's just such a well done movie. It hits all the right notes. I would think even if you watched it today for the first time, you're still going to be able to find the humor, and maybe not to the extent that people who grew up with it did, but I think it's still going to be an entertaining watch for people checking it out for the first time. And for me, it's fucking perfect. A unicorn, quintuple main man, 5 stars.
I love to hear it. I should probably go there. I was gonna give it a 4. But I don't know, because did you watch Major League 2 in your rewatch here? Because I did. I watched Major League 2 right after. I don't know. I love me some Major League 2. So I don't know. But I'm sticking with 4. It's great. That's what I mean. Oh, number 2 might be my unicorn from watching it so much.
Wow.
Not that it's the best, but just for me, like just growing up, like number 2, I watched all the time.
Oh, I actually, when I was probably like 11, 12 or so, we picked up a VHS copy of Major League Part 1 at like a Jamesway store or something, which is like a Walmart or a Caldor or whatever. But we were like in upstate New York visiting my dad's family, and we stopped at this store and we got Major League on VHS for like $9. And it was like one of those tapes that my brother and I just wore the fuck out of. So obviously I'm the older brother. I'm going to watch it. They can't tell my younger brother he can't watch it.
Yes.
So it was like one of those things where he's 9 or 8 or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, fucking shove it up his ass, Wild Thing.
Both of us voted for Major League, and that's a good thing because we were on the winning side again, Joe. Woohoo!
It's nice to be on the right side of history.
Major League advances to take on. It's going to be a tough one for our double main man, Joe, here. This is his movie, A League of Their Own, number 1 seed in the baseball bracket. This is available on Peacock. You excited for this? I'm nervous. I don't know.
I'm excited to do a rewatch because I've held A League of Their Own in such high standards for such a long time now. So with having done a fresh rewatch of Major League and now being able to do another fresh rewatch of A League of Their Own, I want to see, am I correct in my prior statements about A League of Their Own? I do think it's not just the best baseball movie. Coming into this tournament, I've always said that. It's not just the best baseball movie, it's the best sports movie.
That's going to be exciting. So that's one of our second round matchups that we'll be doing next week. But we did start the second round this week, Joe. Oh, we went back to the basketball bracket here, where Blue Chips had advanced, beating He Got Game, and it was taking on the number 1 seed Hoosiers. Oh boy, it's another movie. People talk about basketball movies. They can't get Hoosiers out of their mouth quick enough, bro.
No, they cannot. Hoosiers comes out in 1986, runs an hour, 54 minutes. IMDb gives it a 7.4. Rotten Tomatoes, 91%, with an audience score of 88%.
Jesus.
A budget of $6 million domestically brings in 28.6. So I don't think it's the massive runaway hit that kind of people think it is, but it comes in. Ready for this one, Gomez? 170th at the box office for 1986, but that's because it was released late in the year in November. So for the year 1986, it actually only brings in just over $1 million.
Damn. Okay. All right.
The number one movie in 1986, Gomez. What if I told you you'd have to get on the highway to the danger zone?
Oh, yeah. Top Gun, huh?
Top Gun was the number one film of 1986, bringing in $176.7 million.
All right. Not bad.
So Hoosiers, a coach with a checkered past and a local drunk, train a small town high school basketball team to become a top contender for the state championship in 1950s Indiana. So, like we said with all these other football movies and such, people really care about high school sports. And in Texas, it's football. In Indiana, it's basketball. And nothing gets Indiana excited more than white kids playing basketball.
It's interesting. I figured they'd be all about their offensive linemen and shit like that. No, they like to hoop it up over there. All right, boys.
So this is very, very loosely based on a real team that was a very big underdog in the 50s that ended up winning the state championship. And we get Gene Hackman, who plays Coach Norman Dale, Dennis Hopper, who ends up getting an Academy Award nomination for this film, plays a local drunk, Shooter Fletch, who's the father of one of the kids on the team. Our friend Chelsea Ross, who plays George, one of the local townsfolk here. And I say he's one of our friends because he also appeared in Major League as Eddie Harris, the crafty veteran, Gaylord Perry type player for the Indians in that movie.
Love it. That's right.
Gene Hackman was convinced that he would never work again because of this movie. He showed up to set every day pissed off, making life miserable for the entire crew. He thought the script sucked, the movie sucked. He thought everything about this movie was going to suck. And during the montage where the team goes on their winning streak, there's a scene where Hackman looks at Dennis Hopper and makes Dennis Hopper laugh. And you don't hear it because like the music is playing and they, the quick cuts for the team winning and stuff. And people want to know, like, what was he saying to him that made Dennis Hopper laugh in that moment? And what was he saying was, Hopper, I hope you've invested well because neither of us will work again after this piece of shit.
Why do you take this movie, bro? I had a gun to his head. You better fucking do this movie, bro.
Well, he wasn't even the first choice. Jack Nicholson wanted to do this movie.
What an interesting movie with Jack Nicholson, bro.
And the thing was, Jack had some court case coming up that he was a witness for and he couldn't get out of it. And he told the directors and the producers, if you find someone else to do it, fine. If not, I would love to do this movie in a year. Wow. He had other things lined up and such in that timeline.
Yeah.
They end up getting Gene Hackman to do this role. Gene Hackman is not happy about it, to the point where when they bring in Gene Hackman to the studio to like redub some of the audio, which is a very common practice in movies, Gene Hackman demanded to see an early cut of the movie. And the director does not want to show it to him. He's convinced Hackman's going to walk in, watch it, hate it, and refuse to finish recording his lines. Instead, Hackman watches it and goes, how the hell were you able to get that movie out of that shit that we filmed?
So funny, bro. It's crazy. I just love complaining the whole time as if you had to do this movie.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm a Gene Hackman connoisseur. I recognize Gene Hackman is a very good actor for a very long period of time. I really haven't heard these Gene Hackman horror stories before. So when I'm doing research into this film, and it's like everybody working on this picture hated Gene Hackman because he was a fucking piece of shit every single day. I'm like, I want to dive deeper into the Gene Hackman wormhole here and find out what kind of person he really is. Tell me Keanu Reeves stories about Gene Hackman on The Replacements. So that's going to be my project when I have some downtime during the next week. I want to go looking for Gene Hackman horror stories.
I can't wait to hear. I'm very excited.
But for years, this has been almost held as the gold standard for basketball movies.
100%.
And I mentioned that this was, you could buy the VHS at McDonald's back in the mid 80s. And I said, I wanted to say it was Wayne's World because I remember being able to get a copy of Wayne's World. It was actually Back to the Future. So you could get Back to the Future or Hoosiers on VHS for a couple extra bucks when you went in and got your Big Mac or your chicken nuggets.
So crazy.
Happy Meal. Good choices.
Great.
I want to say we had a copy of Hoosiers, and I tried watching it when I was very little, and it just started off slow, and I shut it off and went back to watching cartoons or something. This is not a kid-friendly movie. Not
very adult. Yeah,
it's a serious movie. It's not like it's adult themes where you'd be afraid to show it to your kid.
No, it's like young adult.
It's a very serious movie. It's about story. It's not a lot of action or. You know, it's not like a good basketball movie like Teen Wolf, where it's fun. We're all going to have a good time playing basketball. And there's a fucking wolf playing basketball.
Who don't love a wolf playing
and standing
basketball?
On top of the bus doing the surfboard.
Ooh.
Those are the kinds of basketball movies I wanted to watch as a kid and an adult. Now, going back and really watching this movie for the first time, I am shocked by how fucking boring it is. You know, fucking 6-year-old me had it right the whole time.
Not a fan. Yeah, not a fan. I just don't get the love. I don't get what's so great about it. Like, it's a fine sports movie. All right, you know, they persevere, blah, blah, blah. But okay, whatever.
It's very paint by numbers. There's nothing exciting. The performances don't evoke a lot of emotion in me. Hopper gets nominated for Best Supporting Actor here, and I look at that and go, for this?
It's showy. He's very showy at times. People, they love a nice showy performance. He's drunk at the basketball game. Oh my God, you know.
There's not a lot happening in the story. It's very much just like the coach takes over, he gets the job, puts in a new training regimen. Everybody thinks they know better than him, but the team stands by the coach, and now they win a game, and now they've won a second game. And it's just very monotone, very, you know, I keep using the word exciting, but there's nothing to this movie at all. And I cannot believe that this is the movie people put on this pedestal. It makes no sense to me.
I agree. I want people to please let us know in the comments, what exactly do you love about this movie? Because we had some comments in the voting where it's like, this is Hoosiers. You got to vote for Hoosiers. And it's like, do you?
Do you?
Like, why do I have to vote for Hoosiers? Like, I don't get it. Like, is it because this is an older movie and we're so used to this formulaic shit by now that back then it wasn't so paint by numbers, as you said? You know, maybe this was like, oh, look at this. This is a little, I don't know, right? When did Rudy come out? All that shit. It's all the same.
Rudy would have been 92-ish.
So then maybe like this, is this like the archetype?
Like we've seen it and we've seen it done better at this point.
I don't know what it is about it, especially because people who don't even love basketball will tell you how much they love Hoosiers, though. Like, Hoosiers is what a sports movie. And it's like, really? I don't know, bro. Gene Hackman, I think, is great. I think he's doing a great job. I don't mind King Cooper. I thought he was okay, but it's nothing too crazy. He's drunk. He's a drunk guy. Like,
there's nothing in this movie that will make you hate it, but there's nothing in this movie that'll make you love it. No. For all intents and purposes,
you know,
this movie is just there. And when I was finished with it, I just shut it off and I was like, huh, that's it, huh? Like, and it really kind of bent my brain a little bit. Because I went in expecting, I don't know what I was. Obviously, I know it's this big underdog story, which I'm okay with. I mean, we got little giants that I still watch. Icebox Becky O'Shea. Maybe I went in with too high expectations just because of everything I've heard over the years that, hey, if you're going to watch it, Hoosiers is the gold standard of basketball movies. But I really think
it doesn't even come close. Like, at least if it was like, I get it. No, I don't even get it. I don't get it at all.
No, I really don't get it. There's nothing about this movie that I think is so great or so inspirational or so amazing. Like, Gene Hackman is fine, but he's not incredible.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's good in it.
The basketball is fine for 1950s Indiana high school basketball.
It's terrible. Like at 40-30, like it's terrible basketball.
Yeah, the final score is like what, 42-40? Like,
it's like, fuck that game, bro.
But then when I do the research about like what the game that actually happened that this is based on, the final score is like 32-30.
Jesus Christ. They spiced it up,
worse
baby.
than the movie version.
They spiced it up for the movie. They Hollywood it. People hate that added point. Come on.
So I really just don't get it. And I'm going to need someone to explain to me what is so appealing about this film.
Yeah, genuinely, we want to know. We're not, trying to pick on you. We want to know. And then we'll pick on you.
Yes.
Let's hit some music here one more time for this one here.
Are you a man? A double main man? Are you a man? A triple main man? A man? A quadruple main man? Are you a man? Are you a man?
All right, Joe. Hoosiers, main man standing on. I want to hear this one. Where's this falling?
It's such a difficult movie to like throw a grade because, like I said, it just exists. It's just, here's a story, and then at the end of it, you close the book and you say, "Well, at least I finished it." And you go on and move on about your life. And I got no excitement out of this. I didn't feel invested in anything going on in this movie. And then it's over, and I say, I can't believe that's it. So I'm going to give it 2 stars, a double main man. That's where it sits for me. It just simply exists.
Me too. 2 stars. It's a little closer to the 2 than the 2.5 for me. We're going to give it the 2.
And unfortunately, or fortunately, because it's going up against Blue Chips, which I only gave 1.5 stars.
Retroactively, I would give Blue Chips an extra star now when I'm comparing it to Hoosiers. I'm like, I think I was a little too hard on Blue Chips because Blue Chips is at least I get entertainment out of it. Nick Nolte's a crazy person. I like watching Shaq mumble through his lines. It's fun. I get some fun out of it.
So when it came to voting in this poll for this week for Hoosiers versus Blue Chips, I ended up voting for Hoosiers.
I voted for Blue Chips because I said if I had to pick between the 2, I would get some more enjoyment out of Blue Chips. I think it's a little more fun there. But let's see, Joe. The poll here. You're the winner, Joe. The number 1 seed Hoosiers has moved on to the Final 4. Oh, baby.
As it was meant to be.
So we're going to wrap up the second round this week, Joe. We got 3 movies to watch, each in a different bracket here. Obviously, you can rewatch the other opponent if you want. But in the football division, we have the Varsity Blues taking on Remember the Titans. Ooh, baby. Number 1 seed, Remember the Titans. That's on Disney Plus. I think that could be a close one. In the hockey division. Yes, in the hockey division, this one is going to be interesting. This is the clear. The line is being drawn.
This is the generational divide here.
Which nostalgia is going to hit more? Is it going to be the Mighty Ducks or will it be the number 1 seed Slapshot? This is only available on VOD, it seems. You would have to pay if you want to watch this Slapshot movie. I did not see it anywhere else. And then, as we mentioned earlier, A League of Their Own, available on Peacock, the number 1 seed, taking on Major League. Oh, baby. That's going to be fun.
And then after that, we'll be into the Final Four and then the finals.
Yes. Oh, boy.
So we are almost done wrapping up our March Madness sports movie bracket. It's been exciting.
It's fun. I'm excited for the second round. I think some of these matchups going to lead to some closer, fun discussions in the group. I'm excited for that.
I am as well.
Joe, one other thing is coming out this week. Joe, what you got any plans this weekend, Joe?
Yeah, I have plans to watch movies at home and definitely be part of the 66% that doesn't want to go to the movie theater.
You sure? Because there's a movie coming out this week. It sounds like it's something you might be interested in. I don't know.
Listen, I know they just did the premiere. I know what's coming back. I've heard good things so far. Reviews tend to be semi-positive, but you know what? A lot of stupid people like that last fucking Ghostbusters movie too. So you don't always listen to reviews. You always listen to shoes.
Put it on the shirt, folks. Maybe one of us, maybe both of us will make it to the movie theaters. There's no guarantees. We're not promising anything. We'll see. You know, it is easier for me to see that movie than Dune because, like I said, I'm trying to see it on IMAX, but any old screen will work for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire if you haven't caught on to what we're
you don't want to see that in 4DX or whatever?
I'll do it just for you, baby. I'll let you know what Slimer smells like.
I was gonna say they probably throw slime on top of you.
Oh, came out Slimer ponchos, baby. Come on, tell me you don't want to get one of those buckets that look like the fucking trap. That's pretty awesome.
That look like balls when you look at it from behind. The way they sculpted Slimer's chin, if you look at the Slimer popcorn bucket from behind, it looks like hanging balls.
Oh, goodness gracious. So that's a jam-packed episode for you next week, Joe. But that's next week, baby.
So let's finish up this week.
You got it. Now time for the big finish. All right, Joe. It's big finish time. You ready to spin this wheel, baby?
Can't wait.
Woo, we're spinning it. All right, Joseph. We got another fuck, marry, kill. Are you ready for this?
Getting a lot of these lately.
Oh, this is gonna be a good one. I don't know.
I hope it's the coaches from each movie that we watched this week.
So I thought of doing something like that, but I didn't. Maybe next week we will do the sports related fuck, marry, kill if it lands on that. No, this week, Joe, I got some teen heartthrobs here, Joe.
Oh, well, I would know having been one of them.
They all have something similar. Here we go. Ready?
Okay, let's hear
We
it.
got Rachael Leigh Cook, Sarah Michelle Gellar, however she pronounces it. I've heard her say Gellar sometimes.
It's not.
I don't know. It's it's not. And
wait,
last
are these
but
all
not
people with three names?
Jennifer Love Hewitt rounds out our 3-name teen heartthrobs. This, I don't know. This is gonna be a tough one. I don't know, Joe.
This is so easy.
I think I'm killing Buffy, right? I think Sarah Michelle Gellar, whatever we want to say.
Like Ross and Monica.
I'm killing her. I'm getting rid of Buffy. She's gone.
Yeah,
see you later.
Gone.
Get the fuck out of here. Now.
Was never a fan for even when she was like the thing because of Buffy.
Never.
Look, she's cute and she never did anything to me personally. I just never into her like that. And then I hated her when she was the voice of Tila on
more reason to hate her
on the Masters of the Universe show. So I got no problem killing her.
I agree. Very
Cruel
very
Intentions
much so.
was a different story though. I was like, wait 1 second, was I wrong about this whole time?
Yeah, but I was more a Selma Hayek guy. I didn't really. I was
Selma
more into that.
Blair.
Selma Blair, excuse me. Yes, Selma Blair. Yes. Love Selma Blair. So she didn't do it there. Now Mary, do like both of these. I think I'm gonna marry Rachael Leigh Cook and sleep with Jennifer Love Hewitt. I think that's where I'm going. I think.
Listen,
I'm not sure.
Jennifer Love Hewitt is not a girl that you just sleep with. Jennifer Love Hewitt is the kind of girl you take bowling because you want to get to know her and spend time talking with her and learn her little idiosyncrasies and the way she scrunches her nose when she throws a ball in the gutter. You want to see the way she dips her French fries. Maybe she uses ketchup. Maybe she uses the little cup of spare cheese. You want to just get to know her on a personal level and connect in a much deeper way than just one night of coitus. Jennifer Love Hewitt is the woman that we have all aspired to have by our side for generations of human relations. Rachael Leigh Cook is a very beautiful girl with a very nice personality. Yet, when I met her, she mistook my Honky Tonk Man t-shirt for an Elvis Presley t-shirt.
Oh no.
And that is not a woman I want to spend my life with. I'll spend the
cannot let
night
that
with
go.
her, maybe a weekend, but not my life. Jennifer Love Hewitt, I love everything about you, baby girl. There's only one thing I would change about Jennifer Love Hewitt.
What's that, Joe?
Her last name.
God damn it. What a fucking smooth operator, baby. There you have it. Another fun and different of Fuck, Marry, Kill. I love it. I'm loving the new Big Finish, Joe. Mixing it up. It's good times.
Very easy week for me, Gomez.
Let's wrap this son of a bitch up, Joey. Let's go.
Thank you all for listening to the JoeMeZ podcast. We're having fun during our March Madness sports movie brackets here. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. So thank you guys for joining in, for voting, for helping select these winners each week in the Facebook group. Simply search JoeMeZ podcast on Facebook to join the group since it's free. And you can have a good time being part of the conversation and posting some things to get some talks started. It's a good time. Follow us on all the social media at JoeMeZ, and please remember to subscribe wherever you're listening to this, or if you're watching on YouTube, leave some 5-star reviews over on Apple Podcast if you feel that we deserve it. That would be greatly appreciated. The goal is to get to 100 5-star reviews before the end of the year, and it's an uphill battle. But by God, we're going to try.
We'll get there, baby.
And you can follow all my personal stuff at The Joe Shoes. I think next week, I will have some big news to drop on you guys. So fingers crossed. We're hoping for that. Follow my YouTube channel, all my food reviews over at youtube.com/Joe Shoes. A lot of good new stuff going up.
Killing it lately, Joe.
So do all of that.
The JoeMeZ 154, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky. And hey, that Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Mez Movie. I streamed Wake Up Ron Burgundy like I said I would. It was good. It's still a good movie. So different. There's this whole bank robbery plot. Like that's the main focus of the movie is these guys are robbing banks and then they kidnap this girl. It's interesting. Not bad. It's a fun time. Now I want to watch Anchorman 2 to